And we are live. Hey everybody, welcome to Meet the Maker. This installment, we have Shammy from XR Bunker. He's a very active member of the Voron community. He's been around for quite a while, I think. We'll ask about that. But Shammy, thank you for being here. If you guys haven't seen Meet the Maker, this is a series that we basically just hang out and talk to people in the community, learn a little bit about them, about the things that inspire them, and just get to know the people that sort of we interact with. If you guys have bought a PCB from our website, there's a pretty good chance that it was from this man right here. And I think, same thing if it goes for Fabrico. If I know you worked with DHF a lot or DFH a lot. So there's a good chance I think that this man has touched some component of your printer if you are in the Voron community. There's very, very few people in the world, I think, that can say that. So, Shammy, thank you again for being here.
Thank you guys. It's pretty cool to get to sit down like this because it's not a normal forum that you get to see. So it's awesome.
Yeah, I think, Alan, do you know how many of these we've done?
Uh, I don't know, maybe 12 or so. Sorry,
Okay.
there might be some barking in the background. Um,
Oh, I thought you were talking about my kids. I was
There's
like,
probably a
no.
bird or something outside.
Well, there is a delivery here, and Mandy wanted to make sure we didn't miss it. Also, Daniel, your video is frozen.
Oh, shoot. Well, I am going to switch to my bad video then because I've been playing around with this iPhone video, which is what I usually use, but my mount is no longer at the house. So there you go.
Here we
You
are.
get a less clear version of me. All right. So I'm not going to do the introduction for us because I think people know us, but I do want to briefly just pause for a second because we have a new employee, and that new employee is actually on stream today. So Keela is joining us. She started on Monday. And so if you interact with us, there's a chance you'll be seeing Keela. So welcome, Keela.
Thank you.
welcome. That's awesome.
Yep.
Um, Shammy, can you just kick us off? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. I kind of started in the 3D print community about 4 years or so ago, I think it was. Um, Kind of just hung around in some of the different channels. And at the time I was helping the DFH kind of crew kind of do their stuff. And he was struggling with for whatever reason. And I'm like, dude, just here, let me help. I didn't have the first clue what I was doing. you know, I this wasn't my normal background. Um, I figured if I could build $1 million home, I could probably figure out how to solder a board. Um, so I just kind of dove in with both feet, just trying to help, kind of the community as a whole. It wasn't to really make money or anything. It was just kind of, I thought, as a good resource for the community. And yeah, I mean and I was like, wow, I really enjoy doing this. I
That's
mean, I
awesome.
sweated pipe, soldering copper and stuff ever since I was a kid, doing construction and whatnot. And I'm like, wow, this is way better than sweating pipe all day.
So had you not done any soldering boards or anything like that prior?
Never,
Really?
I hadn't ever, not one. I mean, I used to strip wires with my teeth and twist them together and and put in car stereos or something in high school, but that was about it. But
Wow,
yeah,
okay.
kind
That's
of a
crazy. And how long ago was this?
4 years ago.
Okay. Wow. That's impressive. Um, tell me how things have changed as far as your process. I'm guessing that you now do things differently than when you were like first learning.
Oh, for sure. I mean, when I first was doing it, I didn't know. I'm like, does it do I need flux? Do I not need flux? How the crap do I clean this board off? Should I clean it?
Sure.
I mean, it was a lot of I don't know. And it was okay, well, let's try this and see if it works. Well, that didn't work out so well. Okay, so let's find a better option to do this. Speed wise, I mean, when I first got started, if I could get 25 Z stops done in a day, I was feeling pretty proud. Now, if it took me more than half hour to do 25, I'd probably be pretty disappointed in myself, you know.
Yeah.
How do you make your soldering resin?
My my flux that I use for soldering is
Yeah.
100% made by me.
Okay, that's different.
Yep,
So,
my resin
yeah.
that I use is 100% used by me. It's a resin based.
Is it a secret?
It kind of is.
Okay.
It kind of is. It's a secret
Okay.
recipe, man. You can't
It's
ask him about his
resin.
recipe.
It's resin based. I can say that. The resin comes from a pretty special place. Some friends of mine have some black walnut trees
Are
that
you
they
serious?
actually harvest sap
Wow.
from.
Sorry, I'm just picturing you like going out to your buddy's house, like in the forest, with like some like bark
That's
chip like
awesome,
scraper
dude.
thing, and like scraping
Yeah.
off the tree.
But
Okay.
yeah, I've got my own little secret recipe that I use, and it works better
Works great.
than anything that I've tried buying about every flux out there that I could
Mhm.
find, and none of them worked as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you considered offering that to friends and family, or even selling it?
I thought about it, but I didn't give it a lot of thought because I'm going, wow, how in the crap would I ever ship all this with restrictions?
Okay.
Mm,
I mean, I want to
yeah.
try some.
I've seriously
Now
considered
Dan
it,
wants
but
to.
I haven't put a lot of thought into it just yet.
Cool.
But
No,
for
that's-
example, if you were going to, I don't know, like a rep rap festival in Colorado, and there was a car full of printers coming from Portland going to Colorado.
Yeah, we could probably make something happen.
That's
Yeah, we
awesome.
could probably make that happen.
And Shammy, you drive to the event, don't you?
Yeah, it's only like 4.5 hour drive for me to get to Rocky Mountain.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I'll definitely be there this year.
Now, do you go to any of the other ones?
I have not. Rocky Mountain is the only one that I've went to. I was gonna go to Murph in Indiana, but I didn't go this year, mainly because I was really disappointed. Dr. Dave, if you're listening, you weren't there and you were supposed to bring whiskey and you like fell out.
Your
So
fault. Your fault,
all
Dave.
your fault that I didn't go.
Mhm.
Yeah, Dr. Dave, and you actually make some PCBs. I think that what the Micron, is it the Micron?
These are for the 2.4 or the Trident skirts.
Okay, that's it. Yeah. The LED boards are pretty sweet. And
Yeah, I
the
call
quadra
them.
teal color that we have from Ambrosia is actually the color from his first team. So yeah, that's Dr. Dave is well ingrained in the community, but we should rag on him for not coming and bringing whiskey because
Mhm.
That
sounds
was
like it made
it.
Shammy not come. Are you thinking about going this year?
I might. I'd like to. I actually have some family in the area, so it would be awesome if I could go see them. Kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
What area are they in?
You wouldn't have asked me, I could have told you.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna
Uh,
say where
It's
I-
in,
I
it's
have
in these
that-
guys' neck of the woods here. It's in
yeah,
Yeah, we
we're in
uh,
Indiana, so I can hook you up on some whiskey if you want. Like,
Yeah, it was. I'm trying to remember where they're at. My grandma used to live there and she passed away, but her sister, which is crazy, still is alive and still lives there. and I don't remember where she is at now. I want to say it's around Fort Wayne, but I can't remember.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think that's the area, but
Yeah.
I used to
Cool.
live in Fort Wayne, so it's like the second biggest city in Indiana. It's mostly
is
teeny
it?
tiny boondock towns.
So you know something apparently about how to make uh, legal farm use alcohol-based fuel?
I know how to make parts cleaner.
Okay. I was told to ask you this, so I'm wondering what that's about.
I make a lot of my own beer. I haven't for a
nice.
few years, but I do have like a keg freezer and fermenters and stuff.
Okay.
I might make clear parts cleaner on occasion.
How what kind of beer do you usually make?
Anything and everything you can think of: blonde ales, pilsners, uh, stouts, whatever. I've got either the hops for, or the barleys or the grains. It's been a couple years since I did any, but
Oh, okay.
and ironically, the last batch I made, I called Punxsutawney Phil ale, because I had made it on Groundhog's Day.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
I was
really?
just thinking about that today. Yeah, it was a brown ale.
Was it good?
It was awesome. It was really good.
And I was over here like, dang it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I actually asked for because I had twice I've purchased like homebrew kits and sets with the
Mhm.
carboys and all that stuff, and just never followed through on it. So I ended up giving it, passing it on kind of thing. Um, and they kickstarted, I think 6 months ago or something, like kind of a more like controlled, automated homebrew set. That it was like contained in, like, if I remember right, basically like one machine. It sort of does
Yeah, there's one that's
everything for
called the
you.
Grain Father. I think it's called it. I know one of our our Reds from the Voron community uses, if I remember right. Um,
Okay.
the guy I normally brew with, he's clear in West Virginia, so we have to do like cross country team brewing whenever I do get problems. I'm like, Matt, how do I fix this?
Yeah, I want to. That's something I really do want to do. It is very involved. Um,
That's what we should do with the place next door is start a West City Brewery.
Yeah, there's too many over here. They're more of them are closing than opening, I feel like lately.
I think the small micro breweries and stuff kind of had their day. The ones that are, I mean, certain areas they're still doing really well. I know where I'm at. There's two new ones that actually opened within the last 2 years here,
There's been a
Oh,
which is
lot.
awesome because there was only one other. And they'd been here for like 15 years and it closed down. So
Oh,
the new ones, these two new ones are pretty neat. They bring in some cool street vendors for food and pretty neat.
that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think the problem here is, I mean, there's a lot. Like just in Portland, there's probably 100 or 50 or something. There's a lot. But the problem is, I don't think my beer would be nearly as good. I don't know if I'd draw anybody over. We'll
Have to
stick with the
find your
hot
own
sauce.
style.
Yeah.
We will stick with the hot sauce. So anyway, man, so yeah, so about 4 years ago you started. What made you do XR Bunker? Because that's newer, right? That's only, a year or two old. 2 years, 3 years? How old is
3.
that?
You're muted, Shammy.
There we go. I muted at the cough and I forgot to unmute it.
All right. So you're about 3 years old then for it?
About 3 years old at this point. But the name has been around for 25 years.
Really? What's the origins of that?
Mhm.
Back from when I used to game. When the
Game.
first gaming, the real first online before Call of Duty and all that, there was a game called
Halo.
Delta Force 2.
Mm.
And there was a bunch of us guys that got together and played it from all over the world.
Hmm.
And the XR was Extreme Rangers was our tag.
Hmm.
So I've kept the XR bunker in my back pocket, I guess, for 20 something years now.
Did you have the website, or that was just like
Yeah, we had a website, I think, back in the
Wow.
day.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you might find it if you look in the Wayback Machine, maybe. That was a really long time ago.
Wow, this looks, yeah, the game looks really familiar. This would definitely be on the time I was heavy into gaming.
What was it
There
called?
was Delta Force 1, Delta Force 2, Delta Force Land Warrior, Black Hawk Down. A company named Noble Logic made it. And they actually just dropped a new Delta Force after 15 plus years of not making anything.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, gives you Call of Duty vibes.
So yeah, I've kind of had it around for a while.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm looking. Oh, I think I
That's
played. They also made Comanche, and I played that one.
Yep. Comanche, they had a tank game too. I want to say there was like F-22 Lightning or something like that they made.
Before. Yeah, interesting. Cool. Okay. So, and this was just a group of friends. Did you guys do competitive stuff, or did they have that? And it was just you guys just hanging out as like a clan or something?
It was just kind of a bunch of random guys that were just playing on servers that got together, and we used a voice program back in the day. It was really old and really crappy. It was called Roger Wilco. And I actually had to look it up the other day. I found it on, somebody had a wiki page on it on Roger Wilco. And we would get on there and talk and game like that.
Cool.
But then we started getting in some matches. There's guys from some of my buddies, I'm still friends with them 25 years later, out of the UK, couple of Australian guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, that's definitely a cool thing for gaming. You can meet people from around the world. I don't do it anymore. But the Voron community, I'm sure, is also, helped you connect with, I guess, people all over.
It has.
I'm curious, did you print, so is that a Deadpool mask that you printed behind there, or is that just
I
like
was really wondering if anybody was going to notice him. That's my headphone speaker or headphone holder.
what? Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
Cute.
That is sweet.
I like that guy, but you're
Yeah.
not as cool.
Mm-hmm.
Are those, is that a gaming headset?
Yeah, it's an Astro A40.
Are those, I'm looking for a gaming headset.
Are those good?
The Astro A40s they're a really good headset. I own two sets and I refuse to wear them because I hate pushing on my ears.
Yeah.
But they're big enough they go over them.
Cool.
That, and I'm normally just too lazy to find them.
Well, if you leave it inside your 2.4, you'll always know where it's at.
Right? Doesn't get much love.
Yeah, just don't don't turn on the heater. Don't forget it's in there. Oh, that's awesome. So how much, you said that you kind of, when you started 4 years ago, whatever, you hadn't actually done any of this and you learned a lot. I'm curious. I mean, it's been 4 years, and I mean, it seems like, I mean, at least since I've been acquainted with you, you always seem like you've got a lot of stuff on your plate. How many hours do you think you've spent just soldering PCBs?
A lot. There's days that I'll come down here at 6 in the morning, go till 7:30 when I've got to go up and watch the kids, get them out the door to the school bus by 8:15, and then I'm back down here till 8-10 o'clock some nights. Because all
Wow.
my soldering that I do, I don't do any wave soldering.
Okay.
it's a different method of doing like the through hole soldering. I do all mine by hand. I used to do all the placement of the SMD by hand, and thank the Lord I don't have to do that anymore.
Use like a pick and place then.
Yeah, I've got a pick and place back there on that end of that other bench,
What
and
what kind of
Delmar is
pick and place
asking
you
which
got?
which one you have.
it's a Neoden
Okay,
YY1.
cool. It's a time saver.
Huge. I mean, I could go down to like an 04 size component if I had to. Like when I was doing taps in the beginning, the first 1,000 taps I made were all by hand.
Wow.
And
I can't do the small like fine motor things with my hands. I get so mentally frustrated. I can't.
I didn't mind it. It was just, it took me forever to do them. And then like the taps, they have an 04 component, two 04s. Every time I have to do them, I was cussing whooping. I'm like, damn you.
So, okay, what's the least favorite thing that you do? Like when you have to make something, what is it like? Oh, shoot. They
Like the
asked for this
worst, the
thing.
least favorite board.
Yeah.
Probably clipper expanders because they have so many male header pins.
Fair enough.
I need to get a jig made, and I still haven't quite made it that far. It's in the works.
Well, I imagine that stuff's kind of hard too because, you know, I'm assuming some of the stuff that you work on would be defined as like small batch. You don't know if in 6 months or a year, like you're going to be doing a lot of those anymore.
It is. I mean, and I've got the whole many PCBs that I will probably, some of them I will never have to probably buy again. Like stealth burner 2-piece boards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would venture to say there's still probably 2,000 pieces sitting there easily.
Yeah.
There's red, there's white, there's purple, there's blue, there's black, and there's different versions, of course. So you've got 24 volt, and then you've got two different versions of 5 volt. So I mean, there's a lot sitting there where I probably won't ever get through them all. But the way things are looking, that's probably not a terrible thing for me right now. Not having to order any.
Yeah.
How many working printers do you have? A couple people
How many
asked.
working printers? 5 that I could go flip the switch on right now and print with. Well, one still in a box, and the other 2 would take a hot minute to make them work. So there's like 5 that I could flip the switch on, and probably there's another 4 that could be used. So there's 8.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. Do you use them at all for any of the work that you do?
I do. Jigs are a big part of what I use my printers for. And then sometimes like Dr. Dave, his PCB, I call him Dr. Dave's disco floor. I
Yeah,
print the diffusers for those, and then there's one that P-Noob makes for the Micron that I print the diffuser for those as well. What other one? The Rainbow Barf by Whooping. And
what do you print? Do you print diffusers for that then?
yeah, I print the diffusers for him normally because a lot of people don't have natural
Yeah.
ASA or ABS
Yeah.
sitting around.
Yeah. So just having to buy like a roll of filament to make a diffuser is kind of
Do you
disappointing.
do any resin printing at all, or is it all FDM?
I haven't for a while, but I have a couple of resin printers. Yeah.
Okay.
Are they included in the 8?
No.
It's
I mean,
okay.
both of them, in theory would work right now if I went and turned the switch on.
Mhm.
We just threw mine away because I think I left resin in there and we moved and then when we were looking at it, we were like, yeah, we're throwing it away. We never use it.
That's actually how I got into the 3D printing.
Oh,
was
really?
resin.
Was there for table games or what were you into?
It was a
Oh,
buddy,
cool.
some buddies of mine. We we were doing like through Discord or whatever tabletop stuff, and I was like, dude, that is so cool. I've got to go get a printer now. Well, I started printing some of them. I used to have one sitting around here somewhere. Oh, there he is. So that was the very first thing that I ever printed.
Oh,
Oh, cool.
Was my little character that I had made for the game.
Mhm.
And I'm like, that is so cool. And then I started looking, oh, I'm like, oh, they make mods. Oh, well, okay, well, I can find something to empty my vat easier where I don't have to sit there and hold it.
Yep.
Mhm.
Then I'm going,
Little funnel thing.
yeah. And I'm going, oh,
Mhm.
crap, that won't all fit in. I can't print that in my printer. And I was really bummed.
Mhm.
And I wanted like the covers to go over my vats. And I couldn't print those either. And then I sent off and I don't remember what printing service. I had to make like 3 covers from my vats. And I'm going, wow, that was way too expensive for what I just got.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
it all went downhill from there.
What did you get? What FDM printer was your first?
My very first one was an Anycubic Chiron,
Oh, okay.
big old 400 by 400 by 450 printer.
What got you into the Voron universe?
One of my buddies sent me a Speed Benchy video, and I'm like, oh crap, yeah, I need one of those. I
So
looked
what
at
was your first one?
the 2.4 actually sitting behind me.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
I went 350 on it, and then I'm like, I really like that. But I printed all those parts in ABS on my Chiron out of hatch box. Whoa, that was a mistake.
Just they start
Oh, total. I
jumping
mean,
on
like
you.
when I went to like go rebuild it, Dr. Dave was ever so generous and printed all the parts that are on here now. Well, I went to take everything. I'm like, how was I even printing? There was stuff cracked,
Mm.
ripped. I'm going, wow, how is this thing even still together?
It was your first one? Was it a 2.2 before, or was it a
Oh, it
2.4?
was a 2.4 right out of it.
Oh,
Just,
okay.
I think the 2.4s had just kind of gotten released when I made it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got the little the mini 12864 screen on it, it looks like.
Yeah, and actually that's the
Mm-hmm.
version 2
Okay.
because I've got a Manta in
You
there.
liked it so much and you're like, I'm gonna get another one, a new one.
I wanted to keep the old 12864, but the newer Manta boards don't have the plugins for the IDC for the ribbon cable.
Oh,
I didn't
interesting.
even think about that. Yeah, I don't use any of those screens anymore. I use all the touch screens. I didn't even think about that, them not having them on there anymore.
So I had started to, I don't remember who it was. I had started to make a PCB to actually act as an adapter that converted the ribbon cable on the newer screen down to the IDCs, but I didn't make it. I mean, it's like design, but I never had it made.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing I stuck on my wife's Trident down at the other end.
Does your wife's Trident work? Is
Yeah.
that one the 8? Okay.
Yep, it works. I like my 2.4 better. I know Steve will probably beat me over the head for saying that, but
They're all
That's
good
her.
printers.
She likes the 2.4 way better than the Tridents.
I do, because it's so much harder for me to get my fat sausages above the head
That's why
That's why I don't
that's
like
her.
it.
to
I mean,
change out
I don't even
filament and
have
stuff.
big
Mhm.
hands, but it's
Seems like you
annoying.
people.
Yeah, So let me ask you this though.
Top hat, right?
Yeah, if you had a top hat on a Trident, would you like it better than the 2.4?
I will say I do get some better prints that are more dimensionally accurate out of the Trident because it's got
Interesting.
all that heat that's staying at the top at that print area all the time.
Mm.
So I will say the Trident does give me some better dimensional prints. I've been slacking and I have not run the 80XL on there like I should. So it still runs pretty slow, but it does make really nice prints. So I can't,
Steve Builds is here and heard you say you don't like Tridents.
Uh-oh. We're in
I'm
trouble.
probably going to be in trouble now. I know.
You guys are both in trouble. Oh boy.
But I do like it. I mean, I've got a V0 as well, but it's never push plastic. It works, but it's never push plastic. And it's actually, it was a V0.1 LDO kit that I bought off one of the armchair guys. And I bought the upgrade stuff and put the top hat and stuff on it. And I didn't,
That's what we did.
it's been done for almost, well, since the first Rocky Mountain. Right after the first Rocky Mountain, I finished it. But I never used it.
This is a very familiar story, except you probably got further. I think this has been sitting here for the longest time. Similar story. I finished the top hat. All that was good. I printed a couple things, and then I was like, yeah, I have to because I lost some of the X on it doing the upgrade because I didn't reprint some of the other parts that you need to reprint. And so I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And then I took it apart and I never did it. So it's literally been there for a year. But my wife hasn't mentioned it for at least 6 months, so she probably just gave up and it's part of the furniture now.
One of these days I'll finish it. I'll never get rid of it just because I think the kids probably want it more than anything because it's purple.
Is yours or Dan, is either one of those serialized?
Yeah, mine is. That was actually the first one I serialized.
What about you, Shammy?
No, mine is not serialized.
Okay.
My 2.4, the Trident, and the Doom Cube that I built is serialized.
I'm trying to remember. I serialized that. So I went a long time with like a partially built V2. And then I had the V0, and the V0 was working, but I rushed to serialize it for something. I think something that I need to get in VOC for. And I think maybe it was like I didn't want to get some honorary like role or something. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna finish it so I can get in here. And I think it was actually done. If I remember right, I had it done for quite a while. I just had never serialized it. And yeah, there was a final rush for it. It was it was great. But yeah, I feel bad. And Jeremy, I don't know if those are the panels that you're talking about, but it does have those like V0 side panels, the LED
Yeah.
panels. They're cool looking.
They are.
And
They're
they're
cooler
flat. I even
if
had
you
it.
put
I had it
if
flash.
you add the
WQD on it.
WLED, chip in there or whatever, they're so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
So do you
I
have a top
actually
hat on your V0?
forgot. I actually have a switch wire.
Oh, the forgotten switch wire.
It actually was another armchair. It was Derp's
Oh, yeah.
switch wire that he
Yeah.
was getting rid of, and I was gonna get it, and I'm like, oh, I'll fix it and I'll donate it to this local gifted students program. Yeah, I have not. I bought it and it's still sitting there. I haven't reprinted all the files or all the parts for it, so I guess I have one of those too then.
Delmar's asking what's in your S4, so that the dryer in the behind you.
Well, actually, now that you ask, there's a roll of fusion filament, a roll of Ambrosia,
Oh, sweet.
red ASA glass.
Hey.
or is that the carbon? No, it's carbon fiber I get.
Oh, cool.
And I think some more white ASA that I was drying.
Hmm.
Normally there's a top. Well, I guess the top is on it, but yeah.
Yeah, do you have a top on it? It looks like there's something encasing it.
I do. There's a white top on it. I tried a black one. It didn't work. They sent me another one. It didn't work. I'm like, okay, now we're just going to try a different color. So I ordered a white one and it worked.
I'd turn it up.
Hmm.
So just in the last couple of days, I actually reprinted the two top pieces on it so I can dry 8 spools of filament instead of 4.
Mhm.
Oh, sweet. Oh, okay, I gotta look into that. Although the amount that I print now at home, I probably even the 4 is plenty. I know both Alan and I have an S4. It's a great dryer. Okay, so question, yeah, because every time you move, your video moves. I appreciate you rocking the West 3D swag, but you also work for Fabrico, is that right?
I do.
Awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Once I kind of went out on my own, you guys and Fabrico were pretty quick to say, hey, hi,
Mhm.
do you have any of this? And I'm like, well, yeah, I sure do. And it just kind of became just a perfect storm, I guess. And it came out amazing. Where, yeah, I do have XR Bunker is mine, but I also do some stuff direct for Rico, for Hector. Sometimes it doesn't really matter because the community's so meshed together anyways. I mean, everybody shares customers to parts to whatever it takes to kind of get that shop or those people by. That's what's great about the community is you can ask for help or, hey, I really need this. Can you help me out? And
Yeah.
it's there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been great. I get to kind of do some stuff with Hector on some things there. Him, Delmar, Coity, Turtle, a lot of the guys that we do stuff with are kind of in the West 3D stuff. They're in the KV 3D stuff. They're kind of all over.
Yeah. No, I mean that's been my impression too. When you go to the rep events especially, I mean you sort of mingle with everybody there and everybody sort of has, I don't know, they all coalesce around their shared excitement or their shared passion with the printers that we all support and have at home and play with and build and things like that. It is really cool. And it's really cool being actually at the events and hanging out at Fabrico's booth or like just, talking to some of the people that are in his jackets, but you're like, hey, you do the fist bumps because, you guys are, I mean, we're all in the trenches together sort of thing. I was gonna say for Fabrico and us, KB3D, we even do things like, I don't know if someone buys something and we can't find it anymore because we accidentally sold
Yeah.
out. Like I'm like, hey Hector, do you have anything? Or vice versa, right? And like, so there's
Right.
sometimes we surprise some customers with
Oh.
with a shipment that's coming out of Florida or Ohio or something like that.
Mhm.
It's really cool. I mean, I don't think you get that from competitors anywhere. They'd be like, oh, screw you, ruin that customer's experience.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
This
Come to
community is
me.
just,
Don't do
it
that.
amazes me. It truly does. That was the biggest reason that I'm doing what I'm doing, was this community. And I mean, just recently, you look at the fundraiser that Justin put on for Mitch.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
He's not a vendor. He is a guy that makes everybody smile at Rocky, at the
Yeah.
rip raps, walking around with his printer. He
Yeah.
is just he's a good person. So
Part of
the
the
fact that
community.
this community can come together to do such amazing things like that
Mhm.
Mhm.
for the average person that probably wouldn't get that same kind of help from their own family.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, at least not mine anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true.
So it's such an amazing community. And I think that's why I chose to keep doing what I was doing was the community was just so awesome and so welcoming. I mean, I had looked at Annex, I had looked at the Rat Rig and all the other stuff, and I'm going, okay, yeah, that's kind of cool. But then I'm like, wow, the Voron community is just unlike any other.
Mhm.
The
So I
amount
assume
of
that's where
help-
you spend most of your time.
yeah, I mean, right here in the bunker is if I'm not sitting on the bench, I'm sitting on the bench and looking at Discord, whether it be the Voron servers or our servers or my servers, trying to help where I can when I can. I think that's the big factor is just the community.
Yeah. I was seeing in the background, you've got 2X1Cs, it looks like. Um, have you made anything for other printers? Like the bamboos or anything like that?
I don't. Oh, I guess I printed all of my Milo parts on my X1s.
Okay. But you're not doing like PCBs or anything like that. I know there's like what the Panda Lux and like there's these aftermarket,
Yeah, I mean,
PCB based
there's
things.
gonna be some PCBs for them coming from me.
Okay.
Um, trying to figure out how much to let out of the bag. I run the X1 Plus firmware on them now.
Hmm.
I've kind of talked a little bit with the guy that's been creating. There's an expander board for them.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm hoping we'll have to see with the how all the new shipping stuff works.
Yeah.
Kind of see what the prices are going to be like and how bad it's going to be or not be
Yeah.
getting stuff
Yeah.
in here now for them. But I know I'm definitely going to do a trial batch of the X1 expander since
Cool.
it is an open project.
Well, let me know.
There's there's some other ones that I'm looking at, maybe some lights for them
Cool.
because I don't like some of the lights that are out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fine line that you have to walk to still be able to make the
Hmm.
LiDAR work correctly, the laser, for stuff. Because if there's too much light in them, they don't work very
Hmm.
good, apparently.
Interesting.
So there's a lot of trial and error. I had a P1 as well, but it went down the road to Delmar. He was ever so kind to let me re-gift that to his home.
Cool.
So now it's just the X1s in here. But I think there's definitely going to be some stuff maybe coming down the pipe for those.
Okay. There's definitely maybe going to be something coming.
Definitely.
There's
possibly,
a definite
most
maybe
likely.
is a good way to put it. Yeah.
Cool. You, I think you just briefly touched on it, but I know we had a phone call the other day. Obviously, you know, you are buying PCBs. I assume those are being imported, but just because, I mean, there's a major cost difference. Um, it's kind of timely. Are you expecting changes?
Already, unfortunately, seeing changes. Um, I had a small batch come in the other day. Thought I made it through unscathed, and I got a lovely customs bill here last
Yeah.
week. And I'm going, well, poop.
Yeah.
So there used to be a finite number that I could kind of slide under and I would be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But now not so much, which
Yeah.
really stinks for our hobby community.
Oh yeah.
I'm expecting to see probably gonna scare people, but 35+% jump in prices,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which unfortunately, and it's not because I need to make more money off of them or anything. It's because
You get
a
that
guy can
FedEx bill or that DHL bill. Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
only eat so much of it before you have to say, oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's definitely, I did make a trial order last night, maybe. Yeah, it was this last night, just to kind of see. It wasn't a high dollar amount, but it's definitely coming from China, and I wanted to see whether they ding me on it.
Yeah.
If it's because it used to be if you could keep it under $900, you were safe. You
Mm-hmm.
didn't have to worry about tariffs, none of that.
Yes, de minimis is what they call it, right? So like a low enough number that doesn't even make sense
Yeah.
to collect usually.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we'll see because the shipment I got hit on the other day was not big at all.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And apparently now they're really looking at like how many layers there are to PCBs because most of the stuff that we do is 2 layer, some of it's 4 layer, but they're acting like anything that's like a 6 layer PCB or higher now is like military secret. You can't bring that into the country
Oh
anymore.
my goodness.
Interesting.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it's
not, you know, good news for anybody, but
Mhm.
because what the prices are, what I was importing, 'cause I mean, in the very beginning, I would order some boards done, pre-done, if there was a lot of SMD on there. I got tired of fixing all the screw ups and I'm like, no, I can't do that anymore. So then I just started ordering all the parts and building them. And that was fine, but it kind of got to a point where I couldn't do it by hand. So then I would write in the PNP and we kind of had a good system going, able to keep the inventory in check for the biggest part. And then all this kind of slid in there. So I don't know 100% what it's going to be like yet, but I definitely see that increase coming. And I think we're not just going to see it on the PCB side. I think we're going to see it on anything that's coming out of China this way.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that's
I think this is going to be a lot. And they just I think announced Tuesday effective there'll be likely some more. So it might even be more than your 35%.
It
wow.
it might be because I think last night they dropped another 10% on top of what they already had for China and 25% on anything out of Mexico or Canada.
Yeah. Somebody asked sort of if
a good
the
question.
import tariffs, there's a greater chance that we'll have PCBs produced in the US. And I know that you've gotten quotes for doing that also. Because I think I mean, generally all of us prefer to work with local providers. And honestly, that's when I work with Shammy, for me, I'm working with a local provider. I have a name to a face. I have somebody I can call. I have somebody I know that is also doing the value added work. So for us, we're purchasing from a US supplier, and that's what it would be categorized as. But I know Shammy, you've tried to get the raw material, I mean the actual PCBs done locally. Can you tell us just briefly about that and what you think is possible?
I did a look. I sent like a test batch of like 250 of a PCB to a local place in Colorado. I'm like, okay, so this is what I'm looking for. This is the kind of numbers you can expect to see out of me. I'm looking at per board. When I order, normally it's going to be 500 plus on every board that I order. So it's not going to be, you know, I'm not going to ask for 5 or 10 boards. I'm going to ask for 250 or higher minimum, most likely 500. Oh, okay, sure. So give me a couple hours and I'll get you a price together. I go, oh, okay, cool, awesome. And the price that he sent me back was so astronomically high. I couldn't hardly believe it. It was like, because when
Like, what would be the percentage difference?
well, let's say I was able to get double the quote amount, say 500 for $30, say from some place in China. Their price at minimum was $180. It was going to be 4 weeks out and another $180 tooling fee and $196 for
Dang.
just the PCB, 196 something for the PCBs.
Yeah.
So
So
I
I
was
mean,
like,
compared to 30,
That's
$400.
even if you pay for the tooling, you're still paying 5 times the amount.
Yeah, I mean that's like $400 versus $30, and I was going, "Oh,
Yeah.
And even takes
my big
longer.
heart."
Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
I think that's part of the problem. You know, I do think that potentially there's other places, you know, like I don't know, Singapore or something, you can try to find sources and things, but you know, I know for us it's a challenge. Most of the places in consumer 3D printing in our industry are just that's the only place they're located. Um, so it's certainly a challenge I think we'll see for other things as well. Um, but yeah, no, I just know, I mean, that's obviously something, you know, the PCBs that you're doing, you know, I think would be considered small batch for like an industrial client, right? So it's also, it becomes more difficult, I think, when you're not buying 50,000 of these, to make something worth it. The per unit cost doesn't really come down, I imagine, which is why everything comes from China for this, because they'll do it for much, much less.
Yeah, I mean they've got people that are willing to take the jobs, that are willing to work for much like you say, much less. I mean, there's other places here in the US. I mean, there's probably a dozen places that I know of stateside that make boards.
Yeah.
And I think every single one of them, other than minus one that I know for sure doesn't, have government contracts where they're making boards that go into either some sort of military application, whether it be GPS for rockets, satellites, or whether they're doing boards that go in radios. And they've got their prices up that stinking high because they can get that much money out of it.
Yeah.
The government contracts are extremely lucrative.
Yeah. No, totally. Yeah, so something else. Let's pivot to something less depressing and more exciting. So are there any projects that you're working on or that you're doing sort of fun? It doesn't have to be even work related, but fun life?
My Milo,
Okay.
I'm trying to get back out there to that. I had had it since like November, but I couldn't do anything because I was down for some surgeries for like, I had 3 surgeries in 2 months. So
Wow.
like all work pretty much had to get stopped on everything, which kind of, I'm sure you guys felt a little bit with PCBs, and Fabrico did as well, because they're like, you're coming back, right? Yeah. Yes.
We're like we're dying. Yeah, we were dry on some PCBs for a while, but we just got stuff in last week, so thank you, Shammy.
So yeah, I mean, there's that project I'm working on. There's always little projects. There's some PCBs that I haven't released yet
Okay.
that that I'm kind of looking forward to trying to get put done and put out. There's a thermistor board that's pretty unique. I think the way it's going to work. There is a stepper analyzer board that's way over engineered, way overdone for what we would use it for, but so that's I've got the board sitting here, but part of it's got to get redesigned because of that lovely embargo that got put on or tariff or no fly list on what was it, Morn Sun power
yeah.
supplies. Everybody was kind of freaking out for there for a few days. You can't buy them anymore, so I've got to redesign the board a little bit to you find a different power supply for them now.
Interesting. Yeah, that was a really tough announcement. In fact, we've messed up some orders because of it, because all the Milos used Morn Sun power supplies, all the V0s used Morn Sun power supplies. So if you've been looking at one of those, it was hard to, the V0s have been hard to find because LDO is not making, the little thumbs up thing. On Zoom, sorry. On Zoom, I get a little thumbs up thing. Anyway, I mean, it's been hard to find because, they can't make and provide V0 kits without a power supply that fits.
Yeah.
They use the little polyimide beds. You can't use the 150 power supplies reliably. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that just makes it tough. By the way, community V0s are coming back. LDO just shipped some out a few weeks ago. So if you are looking for a V0, they are coming back. They have a replacement power supply that they were able to find. But same for Milos. We opted to just
Power supply now.
send Meanwell. We said send LDO, send them to us. No power supplies. That's cool. We'll source our own. But it's been a challenge for sure.
How about Meanwell's? Meanwell makes an amazing power supply.
Yeah, I think for the Milo, it was less of a thing. It was a small cost increase, but not. I mean, $10. I don't know. It wasn't a lot.
Sure.
The V0, Meanwell doesn't make one that has the right size that will fit with the existing electronics in that very small space. So if you think the LRS series, that 150 does fit. Once you get the 200, it's quite a bit longer. The UHPs are too long. So, I mean, there's a whole, they don't have, they don't have a series that really fits. So I'm not sure. I actually need to ask them what they landed on because we need to start selling it too. But it is something new and different, and those should be landing in stores any week now.
Cool. Yeah, I was wondering why that. I figured it had to be a space constraint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean,
we searched high and low.
I think every power supply that I've got sitting here is a Meanwell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got everything from the 5-volt up to the 24 and 48 volt. I had really big 24-volt ones for my my Chirons.
Mhm.
They lasted about a week before I had the guts ripped out of them and all the wiring and new boards put in. And I think those things, because those beds were 24-volt beds on those Chirons, and it took like a 450 to run that pig.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's a big bed too. You
It's
said,
adding
right?
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, things start adding up.
Yeah, that's one of the things that eventually moved me onto other printers was the amount of money I was putting into my. It wasn't a Chiron, but the amount of money I was putting into my other printers. I was like, okay, time to just I'm gonna put money into it. I want something cool, not sort of putting lipstick on a pig kind of thing.
I've got two Chirons actually. One, because the first one they didn't make me send back, they let me keep it because it was something was screwed up, and they sent me another one. I'm like, okay, cool. So that one's, I'm gonna turn it into like a little laser, I think, maybe. But the other one, I'm gonna finish it because I already have like the great big aluminum bed for it, and this I had the Kinovo special heater made for it.
Mhm.
The whole shoot match, turn it into a linear rail setup. I mean, that bed's thicker than it's thicker than the ones we use on the Vorons even. So I mean, that thing, I can't imagine what it's gonna do once it gets going. I mean, that's big chunk of aluminum just swing around.
It's a bed flinger, right? So it's
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it gets a lot of weight.
just gonna have to
Hopefully
probably
you don't move it too
down.
fast and it just makes the printer just
I
fall over.
figure it'll have to get screwed down, but that doesn't happen probably.
Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
yeah.
Oh, so we were talking. You're in Wyoming, right? So you've been like hit with this big ice storm or snowstorm.
We get hit with the snow. Where I'm at, I'm like right off I-80 in Southwest Wyoming, and we're at like 6,500 feet here. So we're
So you get
high
everything.
desert,
You get
which
everything.
I didn't know what that meant when I got ready to move down here. I talked to my brother before I was moving. I'm like, this is where we're looking at going. He goes, you ever been to to the Death Valley? I go, no, why? He goes, well, that's what you're moving to. I go, what? I mean, there's not a tree anywhere to slow the wind down. It's like I never left Montana because the wind blows 40, 50 mile an hour without blinking an eye.
Wow. Well, if you're off of 80, yeah, maybe when I think when I lost my or I had to replace my tire, you're like, dude, you should have called me. But I think where you are, it's probably like you're in Texas or whatever, where it's like 2 or 3 hours driving is nothing.
Yeah,
But
it's not. That's
yeah.
pretty common. Then before I did this stuff, because I was retired when I started doing all this, I would wake up, I would drive 2.5 hours, start at one job site, clear past Rollins,
Yeah.
and by the end of the day, I'd be clear over in Evanston at the Utah border.
Oh, cool. I stopped in both those places.
Daniel,
So
didn't you blow tires like
It was
both
in
directions?
Evans. I did both
in
ways.
Evanston,
Yeah, that's my luck. That's my luck, both ways.
Let's hope for better this year.
that's terrible.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. No, yeah, well, yeah. So I think it was Evanston is actually where I stopped in Wyoming. That's where I was like, I didn't actually blow the tire, but I had a bubble about this big,
Yeah.
a soft spot. So I mean, it was, oh, that's cute. Oh, it shows on here too. That's awesome. I don't like the bubble that much. So I threw on fortunately I had a full size spare, so I could, I could still get to Colorado. And then Justin that helps organize for Murph works at a dealership, and he's like, "Dude, come over here. I'll get you new tires." So I got new tires. I was good. Came back, and the tire on my U-Haul trailer blew. And that one kind of sucks because I forgot where I was. I think I might have been in Idaho. But there's areas of Idaho, I mean, particularly in Wyoming, where you drive and there's a sign that says like basically you've got like 75 miles or whatever, 90 miles before you're gonna be able to, stop to get gas kind of thing. So you're dealing with. So I had just fortunately left like a trucking rest stop area. So there was like cell service that at least I could call somebody because you totally could be in a situation where it's a little dicey depending on which carrier you have or whatever, if you're going to actually get somebody. So
yeah, it's not uncommon. I mean, when I was driving every day, there'd be spots where I would go, there would be no cell service. So I would literally have to carry a satellite phone with me.
Yeah.
When I'd be going out to like oil pads or some of the mines, there is no service. So you would have to You didn't have a satellite phone. You were kind of
Mhm.
up the creek.
I'm gonna have to rent one.
Yeah. And they're not cheap. That's the worst part. For like 60 minutes is like $400 or something.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Oh,
crazy. I'll
They
just
are
sign up for
so
a free
expensive.
trial of that satellite internet or whatever, and
There you go.
just use that.
Well, now that the new iPhones, you can actually send messages via uh, GPS on them now. You can
Oh,
send
really?
text messages.
Oh, that's what I need that. Okay, I'll look that up.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was surprised. I was able to use it the last time. I had to run over to Casper because there's some spots there where there's no service. And I was texting to my buddy in Florida, and I'm like, wow, this thing just went through. And he's like, yeah, it says you're using GPS. I'm like, wow,
yeah, that's crazy. That's
that's
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Cool.
What did you do that had you driving everywhere?
I was the safety director and head of HR for a construction company.
Mm.
Um,
People safe.
so I would go out to like all the different mine sites and the oil pads and stuff where we were at and check on the guys every day. I had to kind of keep a constant loop going to different sites, different days and stuff because we dealt with MSHA and OSHA, and
Mhm.
because MSHA is your mining and safety hazard. That's like OSHA, but for mining. And then you had state inspectors that you dealt with all the time. So, I mean, you would hope that you pulled up on a site and you were the guy that found something was wrong before they found out it was wrong.
Yeah.
Um, so that kept me pretty stinking busy. Um, before I did that for that company, I was still with that company, but I was kind of all over the place with the owner. Wherever he went is kind of where I had to go. So if he decided he was going to go to his house in Arizona for 2 weeks, I'd pack a bag and I'd be, I mean, it was 6 months of every single day of work, no days off for 6 months when I first started
Wow.
for him.
Wow.
I would either be in Arizona working with him on his house or working on his house here, or he'd have me at the ranch working on something. So I don't miss all the drive time, all the windshield time, because I'd put in 40,000 miles without blinking an eye every year.
Wow.
that's so fun.
Yeah, that's something else. So did you do the construction stuff then for a while? Is that what you're saying?
I did. I ran a lot. Like for him, I was running heavy equipment,
Okay.
scrapers, blades, dozers, skid steers, track hose, backhoes,
All the thing
whatever.
where the kids walk by and just stare at you because
Oh
they're
yeah,
super cool.
yeah, the stuff that every kid dreams of getting to go play in when they're little. But before that, before we moved down here, I'd had my own company doing construction. I'd build houses from the ground up or whatever. Family was in construction my entire life.
Okay.
Commercial roofing is what they focused on.
Mhm.
Um, and then we ranched and farmed, still ranch and farm on top of it. So you had to roof to be able to pay for the farming and ranching, really.
Cool.
You never made enough money farming and ranching. I mean, you didn't.
Yeah, no, I can, yeah. But okay, no, never mind. But yeah, no, you have yeah, I'm sure very interesting though, sort of upbringing then. And
Yeah. I
so
mean, we grew
you're,
up farming, ranching, getting up at 4 o'clock every morning. Because when you were 12, the first thing the old man helped you buy was 40 head of bred heifers. And you'd get up at 4 in the morning. I'd go load 40 bales of hay, 20 bales of straw,
Mhm.
go out and kick bales out to the cows and check if it was calving season, pull calves or whatever you had to do, and then try to be in the house by 6:30 to eat and to get to school early enough if you had practice, whether it was weight training or football or basketball or whatever. And then when you'd get off at night, you'd go to whatever job site dad had opened up. So you'd jump up there and start helping him roof or lay shingles or lay rubber or hot tar or whatever. Go home, feed cows again, and just rinse and repeat every day.
Wow. Well, that explains some of the work ethic you have today, I guess.
Every day I am up no later than 5:30. My wife absolutely hates it. 7 days a week I am up at the latest 5:30. And she still to this day will get up, make coffee, make me breakfast. If it's the weekend, she'll go back in and lay down and try to go to bed before the kids. We have 3 kids. Because when we retired, or when I retired, she ain't retired. My wife's a school teacher. I decided we wanted to do foster care. So we had foster kids for a long time, and then we got 3 siblings in and had them for almost 3 years, over 3 years. And we were finally able to adopt them. So I have 3 amazing kids that I'll trade to any of you guys. I mean, but I wouldn't trade to anybody.
I was like, wow, this is taking a different turn. You're not auctioning people. No, okay, that's amazing, dude.
So yeah, we have 3 kids that keep us busy, 8, 10, and 12.
Oh man, I bet those are busy ages.
2 girls and a boy.
How many
Oh, that
foster kids
12-year-old, I
have you-
know Jeremy and Keela know all about that stuff.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Wait for
You got some
teen
teenagers.
Yeah.
fun.
How many?
I didn't
How many
have
foster kids have you had?
Not
Have
them.
you had through? Have you had other kids that
Yeah.
you just kind of? Yeah.
Yeah, we've had other foster kids. The very first 2 foster kids we ever had, to this day, I could still call their mom and say, hey, I'm going to head to Montana for a weekend or a week or 2 weeks. Can the boys come? She'd say, just
Yeah.
grab their clothes on the way by, take them.
Yeah.
So,
That's
I mean, for the biggest part, I think there was only one parent that we didn't get along with doing foster care. But yeah, we had lots of little kids come through, and
That's cool.
most of them
Make a
was
big
pretty
impact
sweet.
on 'em.
You know, there was always the one that put you through your paces and definitely find your inner peace as much as you could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we love kids. We didn't have any of our own, so it took a long
Holy
time.
heck, you've got as many kids as you have printers.
Yeah.
I was talking about Aaron. Never mind.
Oh,
Oh, goodness.
Shammy, do you still
Aaron,
have
Aaron says he's got
any
7 kids in
animals?
chat.
do I still have what?
any?
Sorry?
Do you still have any animals? You mentioned you sorting the farming or ranching.
I got rid of all my cattle when we moved to Wyoming. I got rid of every cow, every horse.
Mm.
I let all my brothers and dad become horse poor and cow poor. I think they finally started whittling some down because I think dad kind of spends more time in Florida now, but
And they're you said Montana is where
Yep.
they were?
That's
yep,
awesome.
our family's still in Montana. Both the wives and mine are there.
Mhm.
Dad, he spends quite a bit of time in Florida.
Getting some heat.
Yeah, because all my family's from down south. I was lucky enough to be born
Okay.
and raised in Montana, but I've got 4 brothers that were all born down south somewhere or another. And I was the baby. So right after the first Rocky Mountain, well, right before the first Rocky Mountain, my mom passed away, and she really loved being at our ranch and stuff. So I think that's why my dad spends so much time in Florida now. Is it just kind of hard for him to be there?
Yeah.
And I think he likes it because we got him a place down on a lake. So he can sit right outside on his little dock out there and go fishing, or he can climb in the boat and go fishing, or
Okay.
his
Is he
brother bought a house 2 houses down from him, so
Oh, that's awesome.
it works out good. All of us try to go down there as much as we can to
Yeah. Is that where the reunions happen?
we no, we don't have reunions. Not in our family.
Fair.
Law
fair.
enforcement would probably get a notification if that happened.
That's funny. Oh man, that's amazing. That's awesome. I have asked a bunch of questions. I'm curious if any of you guys, Jeremy, Keela, Alan, I'll let you guys ask a couple. I could keep Shammy, I could talk to you all day, man.
I think I've asked. I mean, I don't know if I have any more off the top of my head, but
I think someone in chat earlier said something about like, what is your like hot commodity? Like, what do you sell the most of, or like, what do you get asked the most about?
oof,
You know, it's hard to say because I mean the daylights, the light sticks always go, whether it be the XLs, the smalls, or the regulars. The GBB 15s are so hard to keep in stock. And they're probably the most time consuming board that I have,
Oh wow.
just because I don't like letting anything out the door, whether it be lights or something that has a processor on it. I like to flash it to know it at least flashes. Or if it's a light, every light gets hooked up and tested.
yeah, yeah. I
And
remember
the
you saying that.
GBB 15s are the hardest because I can flash them, but it's really a lot harder and more time consuming to test the stepper drivers. And I think that's because it's not very often I get somebody saying, hey, this doesn't work. Or if I do get that, it's because maybe they got a bad USB cable or a wire that didn't get crimped right or something like that. Because anything that I don't consider what I call a dummy board, like a stealth burner tool head board, there's nothing on them other than headers and JSTs. So it's pretty hard for them to get screwed up. But the GBB 15s are probably that, the tiny fan boards, the Neo hubs, and the daylights, night lights, and discos are probably the most.
Yeah.
It's hard to say one for sure, but as far as time consuming, the GBB 15s for sure.
I can see that. I mean, I'm just I've always been impressed when you tell me that you're testing the boards, because I mean, you already have a process that I'm amazed what you can do. And I mean, the PCBs that you sell are reasonably priced, given that they're done by hand. It's not a machine thing all the time. I'm just amazed. And then to hear that you're testing them too, is just it's impressive to me. I'm still surprised. And I'm always like, do you really? And then I mean, I'm like, yeah, no, I know that you do. You put your name on all the bags and stuff like that, and I think you take pride in that, that people know it's coming from you. It should just work.
And I
That's
try
awesome.
to, because I feel so terribly bad when somebody says, hey, this isn't working. Oh, crap. Really? Well, send me a picture. I want to make sure it's my board.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People are like, well, here. I'm like, crap. Yeah, that's mine. Nobody else has boards that look like that. And then I have to figure out what's wrong with it. I mean, I think I had on the GBBs, I had sent one to a guy, and one of the steppers wasn't working. And I'm like, crap. So I sent him another one, and I didn't test it because I told him, I'm like, I just got done, but mail's going to be here in like 5 minutes. I can throw it in the bag and we can roll the dice. He's like, throw it in the bag, roll the dice. I'm like, okay. I really regretted it because he plugged it in, and apparently I bridged between a capacitor, well, two capacitors. It spectacularly blew up his pie. I was like, oh, I felt
No.
terrible. I bought the guy
Oh,
a new Raspberry Pi, give him a refund, and sent him a new board that was tested. And I'm like, I am never doing that ever again. Ever,
wow.
ever, ever. I learned my lesson.
Mm.
Well, I will say with those GBB 15s, having had my own issues with them, I think those 2209s are like the most heat sensitive I've ever seen. And I think if you try and test them without having that board actually screwed down to a piece of extrusion with the the thermal piece in
Yep.
between, I think the 2209s just go. And it's weird because I've seen 2209s, in EBB 36s that are obviously, in a high heat environment that are fine. But whatever it is on that board, and I mean, you took care of me and it was all good, but like, I have to be honest, at the end of the day, I don't know if it was a manufacturing failure or if it was the fact that before I had that board mounted on the gantry, you want to test it out to make sure because it's difficult, especially on a micron when it's mounted underneath a 1515, so it's some weirdness.
I'd like to look at redoing it maybe with a different stepper on there other than the 2209. It's obviously not my design, but I would like to dig into it. It's something that I know that there was like the party in the backboard or something that had those, like, I don't remember what the heck they were, 2150s or something like that on there. They were a bigger stepper. I'd like to maybe look at like 2240s or something else on them once I get through the current stock of what I have, just because those they're not cheap to manufacture. That's the reason why every time I look at my box of failures over here, it just makes me cringe because I've got like 7 or 8 of them sitting there that I just keep robbing a part off of. And I'm going, eventually I can afford to throw it away and not feel guilty about it anymore.
Yeah.
But they're they're not cheap to manufacture. They're not easy to set up. Um, so yeah, they're they're a they're a great board, but there's definitely room for improvement. Um, I was trying to think if there was any other boards other than that one that, oh, I know what other board. My splitters. Holy cow. Those things have went way quicker than I ever had thought they would.
Oh, yeah.
There's 2-pin, 3-pin, 4-pin,
Yeah.
and they were like some of the very first things that I designed
Yeah.
were those. And I think I bought like 100 boards, thought those things are never gonna sell. If I sell 10 of them, I'll be lucky.
That would.
I'm pretty sure I'm well over 1,500 of them, and that's just the 2-pin short splitter.
Yeah. They're
So
just
those have been,
they're handy.
They're very handy.
and it doesn't matter whether it's a Voron, whether it's a rat rig, an annex, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's about it as
Yeah.
far as boards go. But there's more stuff coming. There's always a little this, a little bit of that's not quite there yet.
Someone is asking, what's the most popular? I think it was Delmar is asking, what's the most popular product you have on your store?
It's kind of a mix between all of them. As far as the splitters are probably, I think I underrated those. Those probably go out the quickest. Those, the GVBs and the Neo hubs and tiny fan boards. Those tiny fan boards are so universally handy because you can run 24 volt and it'll step it down to 12 volt. It allows you to hook up Noctua fans directly to the board. I use it in both my 2.4s, or the 2.4 and the Trident, for my skirt fans, because I just run Noctuas in both sides of the skirt. So they're pretty handy for that, and they can still run RGB off of them.
Well, on our side, I'm looking, it looks like the OptoTap and the Binky are our two most popular products from you.
Yeah, taps have never been a problem as far as sales. I mean, my last count, I think I have 160 sensors left, and that will be 2,500 taps that I've made now.
Wow.
The first 1,000 were all done by hand,
Oh,
and then this last batch of 1,500 have been all done with the pick and place, which I've been very thankful for.
Yeah, I'm sure. How much time does that save you?
A lot. Holy
Well, I'm
cow.
assuming you can also do other stuff then too while that's working too, so you get like
As long
more
as
than
it's
double.
behave,
Or do you watch it?
I have to kind of watch it. As long as it's the feeders are working right, I can walk away if it's like a bigger set of panels. Like some of mine are single boards, and
Mhm.
then some are panels where there might be anywhere from 10 to 50 boards to a panel.
Yeah.
If it's picking and doing what it's supposed to, I can walk away and
big equipment.
do our stuff on a different part of the bench or something. But sometimes you have to really watch it because it'll
Yeah.
start pulling components that you don't want it to pull.
Yeah.
Oh,
One of my buddies was doing one and he wasn't paying attention, and it zipped out a reel of like 4,000 UVs on him. And those UV lights weren't cheap. They were like
Oh no.
$180 for a reel of them.
Oh, yeah, that's awful.
So I mean, it definitely can misbehave when it wants to, for sure.
Do you have or can you upload a video of that thing working? I think it'd just be super cool.
Yeah, maybe. Let me see if I can find one.
Oh, that's
I think
awesome.
I just sent one to Dave actually the other day because I was
Oh,
making
okay.
fun of it.
And then I saw you've got a pup with you. You got a dog. He walked by, smelled the
Oh,
Fabrico
Odie,
shirt. There
good
wasn't
old
food in there
Odie.
and
Smell
left.
the Fabrico shirt.
Yeah, there's my Fabrico jacket. Where is it, Dave?
Do you have any cats?
There ain't a cat within 10 miles of me if it knows what's good for it. Only cat that I would probably tolerate would have been Charlie, and that would have been about it.
It's like one of the most polarizing questions in the whole community.
Yeah.
I am not a cat person, like, at all. Here, I'm
Well,
gonna sit
there,
direct.
there, there's something to be said for a farm cat.
That's all we ever had was one farm cat.
Mhm.
Just to get the mice and snakes and stuff.
Yep,
Yeah.
Mama Kitty. That was the only cat I've ever, because I'm allergic to cats, to top it off.
Okay, so you didn't even
I,
have to get too close to it.
I swear, it's like they know it. They will wrap around my leg like an anaconda, and they know that I don't like
Or
them.
take you out.
That was about it too. I think the only cat that I ever saw and liked was probably Charlie, was Steve's cat.
Well, and that's on video, so you don't have to worry about the allergies.
Yeah. Okay, Alan, I sent you a video. I think it's G rated as far as I know.
As far as I know.
Okay, let me see. right. Is there any way for me to do this in a way that is not ugly?
I'd post it on Drive and do like a share link
Well,
available. To everybody. You
here,
can throw it on Shopify.
I'm just going to do it right here. We'll go for it.
Bring it up. Can't really check the audio until it starts playing now. Should be all right.
Yep.
It wasn't a spectacular video, but
That's a video of it working.
yeah, I mean, that's got it working anyways. I was making some of Dr. Dave's
Oh, cool.
skirt lights, and that was just the only one I could think of recently.
Cool. Well, while we're waiting on that, just curious, is there anything outside of 3D printing that you're into that's like a hobby, something that you do for fun?
Oh, pup's back.
You know, the only other thing that I'd love to do is hunt, fish.
Okay.
There he is. There's the doggo. Hi, Odie. Oh,
His name's Odie?
Odin. But
Odin, nice.
Odie.
Ah,
We had two boxers. One was Thor and one was Brutus. And when they finally died, we had to get the kids a new dog. So we got him from the Humane Society, and Odin seemed appropriate.
Odin's all knowing.
That's right. Odie, what's your name? What's your name? Oh, that's right. All bow to Odin. Good boy. He knows the bow.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
But hunting fish, I love hunting fishing. I miss.
How often are you gonna do it?
I don't get to, like, the way we hunt and fish. We weren't like road hunters. We would get on the back of a horse with a 6-pack of mules behind you, take off. You're 30 miles from a trailhead in the middle of the Bob Marshall Wilderness. You go back for 2 weeks, set up camp, go hunt for elk, deer, moose,
Big boy.
bear. I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing better than if it's 30 below and I'm sitting on the back of a horse, I'll have a grin from ear to ear on me.
That's awesome.
I love it. But I don't get to do that down here because it's such a long drive home to go do it.
Yeah.
And it's 12-hour ride home when it's not crappy.
Well, if you're in the high desert, I imagine that there's not a lot of game that you can.
There's more here than a guy would think, and especially elk.
Really?
I was amazed. There's like a desert elk herd here. Getting a tag for it's like winning the lottery 3 times in a row. But
Yeah.
I mean, there's like monster, like 330, 340 size 6-point or better elk out there that are just amazing.
That's awesome. Well, man, when Murph, maybe we got to find a way to get some people fishing or something. I'm imagining in Denver, there's got to be some decent fishing spots.
There's actually a pond that's not the first Rocky Mountain. I was going to stay in a tent.
Yeah, you were?
I was. I actually had
Yeah.
everything, and I was going to stay in a tent over at one of the campgrounds. And there's a lake there, and there's fishing in that pond.
Oh, cool.
I was like, and then I was so glad that I didn't, because the kids came, the wife came,
Yeah.
and it was so miserable. It was about like the last one where it was the snow and the rain.
Yeah.
I'm going,
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
yeah, I probably dodged a bullet right there.
Yeah, I'd say so.
It would be pretty cool, though. You'll watch me not catch a fish. The last couple times I've been very unlucky.
You know, we have a big lake here that I love going out to fish. I used to go night fishing a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I like just fishing from the shore, and you could catch ling. I don't know if
Yeah,
I think
link
they're actually
up.
called bird. Yeah, lingcod. We always call them poor man's lobster. We
Yeah.
would freeze them in a big block, throw a big thing of butter in with them, and they taste amazing.
Yeah, we have quite a few here.
Yeah.
So yeah, we would go out. I'd go night fishing out there. There's massive lake trout. My next door neighbor, he goes out on his boat and he'll come back in with just monster lake trout. I'm like, dude, that is so awesome.
That's cool.
But if I can ever get back down to Florida where my dad is, we've got
Just
boats
down
down there
here.
at the house, and there's bass in that lake, Lake Panisofsky. There's bass, crappies. It's awesome fishing.
Cool. Yeah. It'd be cool to do something if it's not like, snowing, freezing weather. I don't
I
think I
think
like
last
that.
year we went shooting. We took a few of the guys. We went over to a range
Oh, cool.
there and did some shooting. That was pretty good. It was rather impromptu. I didn't know we were going to do it. I mean, I had my 45 and a 38 that, like, with me wherever I go, anyways. So I at least had something to shoot. But I think we went through a few hundred rounds each, probably.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It was fun watching a couple. I won't put his name out there, but there was one YouTuber that was not from here. Watching him getting him to shoot, I think it might have been the first time he ever had shot a pistol. It was interesting.
Well, I haven't either. So unless you count like, paintball or something like that, or an airsoft.
I used to paintball when I was younger.
Oh, that was the best. Yeah. The last time I went, which was a long time ago, probably 10 years ago, I already was like out of shape, like got gas like pretty quick. So now I definitely would be like one of those guys that kind of sit back and are kind of more like a sniper type, like let everybody else run up
That
there.
was me. I didn't like running all over. Like we'd play like the indoor,
Oh yeah, I did
what they
speedball
call
or
the
whatever,
jumper.
yeah.
So I'd sit back there and I'd have like 500 balls with me, and I just sit back there and ping down range where I didn't have to move very far.
Yep. Yeah. Oh man, that's good stuff. Uh, anyway, cool. I am. I will do my best always to make sure that we remember that we do trivia. I don't know. Did Alan let you know that we do trivia and to come up with some questions?
He did.
Okay, sweet.
I
So
thought of a couple maybe.
So Daniel, before we get to trivia,
Sure.
there's something big that we haven't asked yet. So we got the story behind XR Bunker. What about the legend Shammy?
Oh God. Okay. That goes back to gaming too.
Okay.
Kind of gaming. In high school, I had a defensive coach. He would get so mad at me because I'd screw something up. And he would say, he tried to yell my last name and he couldn't get it out. And he would say, Mad Hawk. So that kind of stuck. And then when I started gaming, playing EverQuest 2,
Oh, cool. It's a good game
or
too.
EverQuest 1 and 2, but
Yeah.
I mean, I played EverQuest 1 when it was still beta. So that was a long time ago. I played a shaman and I named him Mad Shammy. And it kind of progressed out of Mad Shammy to some guys that I would screw around playing Minecraft with, and they changed it to the legend Shammy. And it just kind of stuck.
That's cool. Do you still play any games?
I do some. I played a bit of Helldivers here lately. When I get
Okay.
5 minutes with the kid. It's been a couple of years since I played any WoW. I used to play WoW quite a bit. Uh, that's about it, really. I mean,
Just kind of got out of it.
I just don't have the time for it anymore.
Yeah. No, there's those kind of games that like you feel like you have to invest into to actually like be like to enjoy it. And so there's some of those games where it's like, yeah, you just can't. There are games I don't play much anymore, but there's games that I'll pick up that's like I can pick up and play and then not play for 6 months and play again, and that's good. But there's so many where it's like if you don't do that, if you're not grinding, like you're just not having as good of a time.
I mean, some of my best friends, one of my best friends, actually, for sure, uh, he's in Iowa, but that's how we hooked up was through gaming.
Hmm.
I mean, I still keep in contact with some of the people from 25 years ago.
Wow.
I see him today and I'm like, wow, that's what Ghosty really looks like. He doesn't look like he's in SAS. You know, some of these guys that I learned who they were, there was like two of my buddies, Ghost and what was the other? Mad Arab. They were both a couple of UK guys, and they were actually like SAS guys.
Oh, really? Wow. People you
And
don't mess with.
once I seen pictures of them, I'm like, wow, you guys don't look like you could fight your way out of a wet paper sack, really?
Oh man. Um, so yeah, I mean, if you've got a couple questions, we can find something to give away. Keela, if you could come up with a question, because we have not put you on the spot. If you can try to think of one while Shammy's going, be awesome. We'll make sure to ask.
I'll let him go first.
Um,
We'll see what he comes up with.
cool, and we got to figure out some prizes. I want to do something that's an XR bunker related thing. So why don't we'll do one that's for anything that we sell that's from XR Bunker. We'll send you that. Um, just because I could name one thing and you're like, I don't have that size of printer or like that's not gonna work for me. So anything. We'll do one because you saw me like looking, I was trying to see if this was used or not. So I have an Undertaker nozzle just sitting on my wife's desk. So we'll do one for that. And then we've got a bunch of new filaments. So we'll round off some other stuff with some of our new Ambrosia. We got different colors and we kind of went with the cool rounding out things and rainbow and Easter themed and stuff like that. So you'll be able to choose some of those. Um, and then one of each show are just like one thing. So if someone said $100 of grease, you choose the grease, you're only going to get a little thing of EP2. I'd probably choose something cooler. Um, but yeah, we'll figure something out. Shammy, if you could ask your first question.
Okay. What was the brand? I won't, because I never said which model it was, but what was my very first printer?
Daniel, what did you already say what this
It'll be for any XR bunker item.
okay.
My very first,
Any cubic, Troodon.
wow, Stephen B got it right out of the gate. It was
Nice.
an Anycubic Photon S resin printer.
Yeah, and remember that was for did you ever paint any of those models?
I did, and I am far too lazy to paint models.
I know when people mention that they're painting and they're like, oh, this is the seventh layer or whatever. Like, okay, you got me. Like, if I have to do more than like spray paint and do like one or two, I think I would just be about done.
Yep. Stephen B
Oh,
was the first one that I see, anyways, on my side.
Yep.
yep, that's what I got. No, yeah, you also have to have artistic ability and talent. I have zero, so.
I have no, not really.
But I admire people that do. I mean, it's super cool, and I know like the resin stuff. I mean, people pay hundreds of dollars in figurines and stuff like that. That I mean, they can do better cooler, all that stuff if they've got the time in the.
I've got a friend in Texas. That's all she does is print mainly resin
It's not.
stuff for games like that. And I think she does painting as well. And
Oh,
she
that's
is
cool.
amazing at it. Totally amazing.
Daniel, it doesn't have to be anything related, right? For the
No, I mean
I didn't think
anything.
so.
It could be
Yeah,
which.
that's what I told her, but she said, I think it does. I said, no, it doesn't.
No. It could be like
Anything you want, Keelan.
which one of my teeth
Yeah.
I got a crown on. You know, it could be whatever you want.
Hey, Daniel, I've actually got some parts in the garage in one of our new colors. I'm going to go grab one.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Very cool.
Ooh, cool.
I will have to say that new dark red
Yeah.
is pretty hot.
Are you, is it the Cardavon, like the wine color?
Yeah, it's that really
Yeah.
it's like almost a brown, black,
Yeah. Oh, it's super
red.
nice.
I was like, I was going to print it. Oh, no, I can't print that. No, I
So,
want to print this. No, I don't want to print that.
so it's Cardavon. It's
Yeah.
if you're into shoes, and that's kind of what the color is, horse leather shoes. That's a very common finish for that. Is that really deep red color. And there was a time where I was a shoe snob, and I still have like 15 pairs of dress shoes in my closet, and that's one of the colors, and I really like it. It does look really nice. I was trying on one of them to do like a blood color, and honestly, that one, I mean, it's not what I would necessarily call, but when you look at it, you're like, that almost is like a blood, like a dark blood red.
It reminds me of lung blood.
Yeah. It's it's a nice
I
color.
get that reference. I spent a good chunk of my childhood on a farm in West Virginia, and we hunted, so I know what you're talking
nice.
about.
What
Yep.
was the reference?
Lung blood.
Oh, is that like, is a different color blood?
Oh, yeah.
Like, cause
If you've tracked enough critters, you can tell from what color the blood is, where you hit them.
okay.
Yeah.
Alan, did you grab those parts?
I did. Do you want me to stall for some time?
No,
Well,
I
didn't know if you
mean, I
want me to
started.
ask or you want to show first.
Go ahead with your trivia. Go ahead.
Yeah, go
I was
ahead.
reading Zombu's downsize from 42 printers comment.
Oh, Zombu, yeah. Yeah,
That's
he
a lot
Did
of
he have a
printers.
second one?
yeah, he's quite the printer collector connoisseur for sure.
Zombu, what's your favorite printer that you've got? I'm just gonna wait and chat, but we
I
can
know
go
which
and do
one it is
trivia.
now.
Downsized from 42 printers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Fun stuff.
Um,
So here's something I actually just found out after reading almost everything on the Ambrosia line is what organization do some of the proceeds from the Ambrosia spools go to? Like every spool, you donate a certain amount of it to an organization.
Yeah, I think we did a donation about a month ago.
Isn't it West 3D?
I just found it out when I was reading like
What?
everything.
the ocean one, ocean charity, ocean
what
cleanup.
ocean one?
She's asking for the specific.
It's the cleaning up of it.
If you go, I'm actually gonna just
Cleaning
find
up of it for oceans.
And you said Keela, did you say that you've donated to him before, or you like bought something from him before?
Yeah, Toity got it. Yeah, I have.
We're
And
ocean,
then I
Toity.
purchased their bracelets.
Yep.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Poita, you got it. So, yeah, it's a organization called For Ocean, and they do basically they help fund ocean cleanup and things like that.
Awesome.
I don't know if you guys have seen, and I'm not an environmental like I'm not a super environmentalist or anything like that, but it is pretty heartbreaking when you see some of the sludge fields or whatever you call them in the ocean. And to know, yeah, that we contribute to that is pretty awful. So, surprisingly, a little bit. In fact, they sell like little bracelets and stuff. I mean, just to earn some money, but they can do quite a bit of cleanup for quite a little amount of dollars. So
Yeah.
it's a great organization. So yeah, that's something, we already, as a business and being in 3D printing, obviously we use a lot of plastics and stuff like that. I would argue that we're actually much more efficient with the plastics that we use in 3D printing than a lot of other industries.
Yeah.
And just the fact that you can make stuff without packaging and things like that, I mean, is huge. But that being said, I mean, there's still waste. Your bamboo, your little poop shoots. I mean, there's a good amount that come through there. We don't really have any plastic spools anymore, but I mean, that's something that we contribute to. We just throw them away, right? So it's a good one, Keela. We did not mention what that's for. So let's do the same. Let's do the same thing. That's any XR bunker item. And
That's already wrote it down.
yeah, you can
I
just.
figured that's what she was gonna say. So
Okay, cool.
she's usually good. She's usually good at picking some trivia. So.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. Shammy, do you have anything that's like exciting happening in your life soon? Are you gonna take any trips? Anything like that?
Yeah, and yeah, it's on my bench. That's about it.
To my
Rocky Mountain
bench.
is about the only thing that I have on the books. Normally, my little bunker down here is about as far as I go most. I actually ran to the store tonight before we got on real quick. That's probably the first time I've left the house in a month. I don't normally
Really?
go anywhere. I
Is
mean,
how far away is the store?
quarter mile.
Oh, okay, so you're okay. Yeah, okay, cool.
Well, the
just
XR, the bunker makes sense about the XR. I get it now.
It is.
are you
You're
literally like in a
in a bunker.
You're
basement?
actually in a bunker.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is actually the basement. I just haven't got the sheetrock put up on all the walls yet because I've actually got to build a bedroom in the other side of the basement for
Okay.
my son. So I need to split the girls up because my sanity only has so much left.
Oh, it's only gonna get worse, man.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna build a bedroom to split those two up and move him down here.
There'll be one fighter argument that you go through that you're like, you know what? Gosh darn it, I'm building this thing now.
I am fairly certain my mom is in heaven looking down on me, laughing her butt off right
yeah.
now. I have no doubt in my mind that Nanny is up there just laughing and going, ha, ha,
Yeah.
because I mean, mom had it easy with nothing but boys, but girls, whoo.
We have four girls.
Yeah, we got.
You ain't
Yeah.
put her up for sainthood yet? Come on now. I mean, my
Rough.
Lord. I have to look at him and say, don't you look at her, don't you look at him, don't you look at her, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tell them to
We've
go
got
duke it
two
out.
and not girls.
Mhm.
I don't think I can do
Yeah.
it.
The
Oh,
hormones
man.
in that house can get wild
Oh
sometimes.
gosh. 7 are girls. That's
6 of
scary.
my 7 are
Yeah.
girls. Yeah. Poor Aaron.
That's for yeah, Aaron. I feel you. That's
Rough.
a rough one.
I'll stick with pit bulls.
Yeah.
That
They don't-
probably ain't a bad
Jeez.
choice. They don't talk back very often anyways.
Oh, you'd be surprised. He will talk.
My boxers, they would talk, Thor and Brutus. They would sit there and talk to you, and if you look down and say, "Hey, use your inside voice," they'd go. I mean, they were pretty good dogs.
Yeah.
Odie's just a Piron spaz. He's got a tail that is. I will never own another dog with a tail after him.
Just hits everything.
Yeah, yeah.
He knocked over 100 taps one time. His tail hit my sheet, flipped 100 taps through the air that had just been pasted.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
oh,
awful.
That's all bad.
Awful.
there was choice words coming out of
Yeah.
my mouth for quite a while
Yeah,
after.
I guarantee it.
Wow.
Hmm.
Oh man. Well, you're gonna make a nice trip out to Remurf, so you'll make a good pilgrimage there. Um, yeah. What did you have another trivia question?
Sheila,
I
One,
will.
got any
For
more?
this one can be one of the Undertakers, and you can choose any one. It doesn't have to be the one sitting at my desk. But if you want the one sitting at my desk, you can totally have that one. It's gonna go. It'll go somewhere. I can't. Yeah, I think I must have taken this home for me and just never used it. So
Alan, do you have one?
Not really.
Okay, I got one more that I can toss out, and
okay.
we'll see if who was really listening,
Uh-oh.
really listening.
Oh boy.
Jeremy's like, I'm out.
Oh no. No, sometimes we've gotten some questions on here. It's like no one gets them.
What time did I get up every morning to feed cows?
Oh, I know this.
Oh yeah, I got
Well, I
that.
know what time
We got that
now,
one.
but I don't think
Come
it was
on,
different
guys.
for cows.
Everyone should know that one.
Oh, I got it.
Adam Storm.
First one in the chat.
First
4:30.
one.
Yep.
Still dark out, no matter where you are. No, thank you.
It was. I've still got the same rig that I did that with.
Oh,
My
really?
My dad
That
bought
was
a
an Undertaker, right?
76 Toyota Land Cruiser the day I was born.
Really?
I still have it sitting outside. It needs some serious lovin's, but I would hook that up to a car trailer that we had, and I would load the hay and straw on every morning with that, put it in the field, put it in first gear and 4 low, and let it drive itself down the field.
You can walk faster than a Land Cruiser in 4-wheel drive low.
Yep.
Wow.
That thing would climb up a tree if it could hold on long enough.
Yep.
45 mile an hour is top speed in it.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, cool. Congrats, Adam. I think you won and said he could use an Undertaker, so it works.
So Daniel, there was a request to see the part. This
Yeah.
is our new Violet Void.
Ooh, yeah.
See if I can.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's kind of like Prince of
nice.
Purple, but it's on a darker base.
Is
That's pretty.
what is that part?
This is the pick guard for the electric guitar that I'm building.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
That
Yeah, so that's news if you guys haven't seen. I think Alan mentioned in one of his YouTube videos about it, but we will be working on 3D printed guitars. He's trying it out, but one of the things that we want to work on, mostly because, I mean, 3D printing is our passion, and we'll always be, into 3D printing parts and 3D printers and stuff like that. But then there are some times where like, I've got this 3D printer and I actually want to use it instead of just building new 3D printers. And we want to be a place where you can go that you can find like fun projects and stuff that you can use your 3D printers for. So the guitar I thought would just be super cool because I'm not musically inclined. I would never buy a guitar, but you could ask me if I would like make one, like 3D print one, heck yeah. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So
Yeah, I'm not a music guy either.
Well, and it's given me a good excuse to buy a porta band and some taps. It uses 2020 extrusion for the structural part. So
That's cool. That's
Most
gonna
of
be,
the
Yeah,
yeah,
stuff
that's
that we
cool.
use
forward
our
to
printers
that
for are
video.
printing printer parts, though, for sure.
Yeah.
It's gonna be neat.
Yeah. Oh, well, Wick Central, here you go. And obviously the Spike, who is the guy who designed it and did all the plating, did some fancy
Mm-hmm.
stuff
Mhm.
with the top layer there. So the bottom is pretty standard, but played some infill
that's what
games.
I was
So
looking
that-
at that top layer and I was like, I couldn't tell if it was actually the bottom layer printed on one of those plates, but you can see it's got angle on it, so it's
Yeah.
just the angles that's made it look really cool.
Yeah, and that's one of those that somebody in our community said, "Hey, look what I've been working on," and it's
Mhm.
like that's awesome.
Uh-huh.
So even cooler if we can support a project that want someone in our community made.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's awesome. And then for the other Ambrosia stuff. So the next trivia, if we can think of one, would be for some Ambrosia filament. We brought in, I think, 13, 14 new colors, something like that.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, some rainbow Easter themed. We got like a blood orange, that Cardavon, which is like a really deep red. The one that Alan showed, which is the Violet Void. Stardust, which is a really beautiful multicolor glitter, semi-translucent filament. The Quadratile, we did that in Galactic. We did some Burn Your Eyes Pink.
In both standard and galactic.
And standard and galactic, yeah. So, and the one thing is that is unique is we're bringing these out in both ASA and PLA. So obviously we're deep in the Voron community. We don't print a lot of PLA ourselves, so we want to make sure that when we bring stuff
And these
in,
match, don't they, across
Right.
both?
they do.
I
There's
noticed, I didn't know if those did, but like the titanium anno that we did with this guy just recently, I
that's
printed some
awesome.
of this in
Another project.
PLA and some of it in some of it in
some ASA, some PLA,
yeah.
but it's still all titanium.
It all
anode.
matches really well.
Gorgeous.
But
Yeah, the resin used is a little bit different. So the ASA is typically more opaque. And so they sometimes look a little different. So I'll say like the Stardust, for instance, is a really beautiful translucent PLA. The ASA, it is the same colors. It's just more opaque. And it just, again, has to do with the resin. But yeah, and then the only one I'm not sure I would like to do comparison for our new matte ABS. I have not tested to see what that looks like, if the colors will match pretty well side to side. But yeah.
Oh, did you mention the camo colors?
Oh yeah, and a bunch of people had asked about camo colors. So now we have
Brr.
the three main camo colors. So we've got FDE, which we already had, which is kind of the sandish brown. We've got the olive drab. Oh my, no, I gotta stop doing that. An olive drab. And we got a camo green. So kind of like the light green, dark green, which make a really full sort of camo color. And then Thunder Keys asked if FDA ASA is being restocked. It is. I think it's sitting in. You should see if we did another tour of our warehouse. It's gotten insane. But we've got probably 7 pallets of filament that are not like unloaded. And to put that in perspective, I think what 7 pallets is probably 3,000 kilograms, more or less. I think each pallet's about 1,400 pounds. 7 times 7 might be 4,900. It's a lot. We've got a lot of filament that's sitting in just waiting to be unloaded. So bear with us.
And also it doesn't get unloaded with fork trucks.
Yeah.
So it's manually lifted up and put up. It's not
There's something to be said for things that are done by hand. What can I say?
Yeah, somebody asked 6 feet high, so they're 40 inches by 48 is the standard pallet. And then the height will range. The ones that we have right now, I would say, are probably 7 feet, more or less. We've stacked them higher and we've stacked them lower. One of the shipments that we had, I think it was the first one we moved into our new place. Because they're doing lift gate too. We don't have a forklift or anything. So
Yeah.
they're sitting here and these pallets are like disintegrated. I don't know what they use for these things, but they're like, they're tipped. It's like basically yeah, it was something else. And I think those were higher. Those were at least 8 feet.
Yeah.
It's something else. This time it's a job hazard, so hopefully no one gets I don't injure myself. But I'm sitting there like holding the pallet as it's coming down because it's tilting to try to just give it a little bit more weight and then you're ready to move out of the way if it starts actually tipping. So yeah.
Well, yeah,
It's
someone
a
said we should
precarious position we're in.
someone said we should get a forklift, but really there's not room to maneuver a
I drove
forklift with the way it's set up in there. So
Yeah, and we're in like the business park that we're in is kind of an older one. I want to say it's from the 70s or something. Everything is for the most part bay door, ground level, no loading docks. There's one section of the park that's just one line of buildings that have those loading docks that you could use a forklift for. They're all considerably larger than 4,000 square feet, which is what we have. And none of them have street view. So right now we are in a good spot. It's just it's we are struggling a bit with space again.
yeah, lots of filament.
But the
Lots
problem
of
we've got is while it would be great to have a bigger location with a dock for when we get these deliveries, it would be really inconvenient for everything else that just comes
Yeah.
by like a normal UPS or FedEx or DHL
Yeah.
delivery van. So
yeah, I
you
mean
kinda right in between.
we got pretty far in our garage. I mean, because if you think about it, I mean, outside of filament, most of the things that you buy for your printer are small. Like we can literally
Yeah.
fit, for instance, these Undertaker nozzles. I could have thousands of dollars of Undertaker nozzles that fit in a little like 3 by 3 by
Yeah.
3, like little
Very
little
small.
bin. Yeah, so
The
it's
amount of the cost per it's very small.
it's
Let's
something.
move all the Ambrosia into one different location. We can ship it all out from there.
Dude, I get why like Polymaker and some of these other companies just ship off of Amazon. It's probably for that reason. It's just
Yeah.
the warehouse space is not fun. And yet the ceilings on this are not high. I mean, I would say the beams that we have are probably 14 feet, 15 feet. And then there's like a soft ceiling that's maybe 2 or 3 feet above that. But yeah, we can't really grow up either. So we have what we have. It's fun.
I refuse to grow up.
Can anybody come up with another trivia question?
I don't have anything.
Because I'm asking and I don't have anything.
I mean, I could, but it's not a hard one that's coming to mind.
What?
What's the hard one?
Huh?
She
What's
said
the
it's
hard
not.
one?
Hard one that's coming to mind. The
Oh, it's
first
not a hard one.
no.
Well, I've got a
I
hard
wouldn't
one, but I
think it
guarantee
is.
you nobody on here is going to know it.
Somebody asked if we actually stock the Ambrosia film. So we do. Currently, and Ambrosia is supposed to be technically a different entity. We've even got like an operation agreement and all that in place. But we are the distributor for it. So it is currently being shipped from our warehouse. You can get it from KB3D and also Desktop Machine Shop currently. So there are other people that ship it, but I would love to find a drop ship arrangement. It would be fantastic. What, anybody think while I was talking? Maybe?
You go ahead. Go ahead with yours. I don't have anything.
Go ahead, Keela.
Oh, it's kind of easy, but what was the first rep rap that West 3D attended? Like what year? Do you remember?
Murph 2023. No. I think you gotta get the name and the year. Murph 2023. I think that was it. Alan?
Yeah. And
Well,
according to
Was that
this,
the first
Yeah.
one, like first Rep Rap
Steve.
Festival altogether?
yeah, I had kind of dodged some of the earlier ones. And to be honest, when you got a full-time job and you're
Yeah.
working out of your garage and all that stuff, it's
Actually,
hard to
wasn't a bad
make it
question.
over. Hard to make it over to these events. Plus, you're kind of doing that while you're not telling your employer that you need to spend a
Yeah.
significant time doing this. So, like it's tough. I think that's when we had enough of a team where it's like, okay, I don't have to do this
Steve.
by myself.
Not rumor.
Who got
So
it?
yeah, that was our first one.
So who? has
Steve got
anyone-
it?
No, it wasn't rumor.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was. He said it
Murph.
was. He said
Yeah, it was
Murph.
Murph 23. That was our
Oh,
first one.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
right.
You
you
Yeah,
said
know.
the first
Yeah.
Remurf was
Yeah.
our first show as a shop.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it was
What was the prize on that one?
That was
one of the new Ambrosia colors.
Ambrosia. That was
Actually,
Steve.
let's say two. Let's do two of them. Two new ones. Yeah, we had like a little 10 by 10 booth,
Mhm.
and it was pretty nuts.
I was too.
That's first.
Congratulations, Steve. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody who won can email us, info@West3D, or you can reach us at Discord, get a hold of one of us.
Let's see
I
if
have a
there's a
quick
Shammy
question
related
since-
question I have. Go ahead.
You guys have it there, and I don't have it yet. The yellow jacket co-extrusion. What is it? It's yellow. All I can see is yellow, from the picture. But like, has anyone printed with it yet?
Oh, I have. Yeah.
What's it? You have
It's
something
yellow and black.
yellow and
yeah,
black.
it's-
Yellow and
Okay.
black.
Yeah,
It's
'cause,
really
like on the
nice.
tool,
that
it
makes
just looks
sense.
yellow. So I'm like,
Yellow
what's
jacket.
it mixed with?
Let me
Yeah,
see if I can find the
Oh.
video.
Yeah.
I should have thought of that.
Let me see if I can find this. If I can find a video of what we got.
300, I'm sure, almost nothing really.
I'm thinking if I can download this thing because we typically when we're ordering things, we've got custom colors, like we get samples, or at least video, and we had one of a vase which was really cool, and I'm looking for it. I don't think I can find it.
Shammy,
but-
did you have a really hard question? Poity's itching to hear it if you did.
Yeah, but nobody's gonna guess it.
Well, let's
Oh,
give
no,
it a shot. Why not?
Let's try. Yeah, let's do it anyways.
Okay, my question was,
We can give hints.
how
Maybe.
many tattoos
Oh,
do I have, and what are they of?
Oh, the double
yeah,
question.
That's a hard
Where do
one.
they go? Could be dangerous.
It's all G-rated, I promise.
Okay.
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 I definitely know
Zero.
the answer to this one.
None.
A lot of zeros and nuns.
One tattoo, says mom.
I would get one of them, but no, it's not mom.
8. Taco said
Okay.
8. Kids' names and wife. Or
Steve was close.
who said tramp stamp?
I am not. Mama just said I was special.
A rose on the lower back. Hello Kitty on the entire back.
Oh my gosh.
My kids constantly say, "You got a tattoo?" I'm like, "No, I don't." Yes, you do. I can see it on your arms.
No one's getting the number right apparently, huh?
Steve had the number right.
Steve
So
had
we
the
got
number
3.
right. Wait, where was that at?
You got the number right, but I
Yeah.
guarantee you nobody will think of what they are.
Ooh, I didn't even see that. Steve, yeah.
Are they recent?
Something to do with
No.
kids.
So
I've had these tattoos longer than I've been married. And I just had my 25th anniversary.
Hmm.
So it's not Hector's
Ripper.
portrait.
Yeah.
Is there any hints that you can give?
And by the way, Keela, I don't know if you can see this.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, yep.
Okay.
So that's what
Nice.
it looks like.
Yeah, that's cool.
Nice.
That's pretty trippy.
I have it coming. I just haven't obviously got to print with it yet. So awesome.
Well, Steve had the
Zodiac.
number right,
Zodiac sign.
but zodiac signs killed.
Tattoos of your family
Zodiac
cattle
sign.
brands.
I would have said something about like your video game, the
Branded,
video games
yeah.
that you played, like your buddies' names.
2 of them were characters that were on TV
Bart Simpson,
that they were from me and Steve's time frame
Gilligan,
to do with the Looney Tunes.
I love Lucy.
I
Looney
love Lucy.
Tunes,
That was a good show, though.
That is a
Tweety
good show.
Bird. Yeah, Tweety Bird.
The Animaniacs.
You're in the right neighborhood, kind
Okay.
of.
Oh, the Animaniacs was such a good show.
Yeah, that was a good show.
Pinky and the Brain.
Pinky and the Brain, yes.
I'm trying
Oh,
to
goodness.
figure out this in into
Clown. That's that's a good guess, but no, it's in the Looney Tunes family.
Tasmanian Devil.
Yes,
Elmer Fudd?
you got it.
The Tasmanian Devil?
Devil.
Josh Edlin. Well, I was guessing for myself before I saw that, so I'm gonna give myself the credit. But Josh got that one right.
2 out of the 3 are the Tasmanian Devil.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
One's the Grim Reaper as the Tasmanian Devil. And then the other one was just a regular Taz in his whirlwind.
Who was it, Josh, that got that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get,
that
guessing
to
2 out of
Josh.
3 is pretty good. So Josh Edlin. The third, nobody will get. I won't even say what the third one is, but it's not bad. But
ELN.
Yeah.
that's pretty good. Tree,
That's awesome.
Steve, and
All right.
yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Awesome.
Got to learn some more stuff at least.
Yeah, now I gotta see if my kids will watch some Animaniacs.
Yeah, I know. It makes me want to go watch Pinky and the Brain now.
Oh, that's
the good
awesome.
cartoons were like the Captain Caveman,
Mm-hmm.
Space Ghost,
Mhm.
the Great Grape 8, Huckleberry Hound.
Hong
I like
Kong
Scooby
Phooey.
Doo. That would have been around your time, right?
Ren and Stimpy.
Simpsons.
I hate Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and
Hanna-Barbera,
Stimpy.
yeah. Jibber Jabber Jaw, yeah.
See, Alan and Shammy are like, yeah, mm-hmm.
Well, we have established that I am 5 years older than Shammy,
Yep.
Yeah.
because apparently I am just older than everyone.
That was backstage talk.
If it makes you feel any better, Steve and I are both younger than you now.
Mm-hmm.
Sure that does.
Makes it feel much better.
Okay, before we sign out, because I do try to keep these now at under 2 hours and we're over, because this has been awesome, Shammy. I'm curious, when was the last time you shaved your beard?
Ooh.
The last time I trimmed my beard was March 25th, 2023. No, I'm
Okay.
sorry, March 23rd.
Is
Last
there a
time
reason
I
you
cut-
know the
Or
date?
shaved completely.
I have not trimmed my beard or cut my hair. You just can't tell right now, but it's like super long.
How do you know the date? That's pretty impressive.
That is impressive.
Because I had it trimmed and shaved a little bit and looked presentable to go to my mom's funeral, because
Okay.
I figured
Yeah.
she'd roll over in her grave and probably slap me if I wasn't.
Was she somebody that would say to clean up and all that?
Oh yeah, she hated my beard.
Mm.
Absolutely hated it. She goes, "You look like some old hermit that come out with spittle all over him." I'm like, "Thanks, Mom."
Oh man.
So yeah, that was the last time, and my hair and beard won't get cut again until my wife holds up the end of a bargain.
There's
Sure,
a
she's watching upstairs with the children now and so mad at me.
we can keep that as an inside
Oh
bar.
yeah, I throw that one out there, and I might be sleeping on the couch.
Oh,
You might be locked in your bunker.
That's exactly, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you're building a bedroom for yourself in the bunker.
Yeah.
Possible.
yeah.
I'd be down there with the dog in his bed.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So last thing I want to do before we head out is you know the drill. Who would you
the
like to see
drill.
us talk to on this live stream?
Who
Next.
would I want to see and talk to? Hmm. You know, I think, and there's a lot of different ones, but Blam would be a great one.
Cool.
Blam has had a huge impact in, I think, in our community. With just a simple little project that he was doing for a buddy of his that turned into a pretty amazing thing for the community called Daylight on a Stick.
Mhm.
So I think he's made pretty big contribution. Who else? You guys ever got Timmett to come on here?
Oh yeah.
We have. Tim,
Yeah.
it was one of our first ones,
Yeah.
actually.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I think it was one of our longest ones too, if I remember right. That's when we used to like marathon. That was like a 4-hour stream or something.
I'm trying to think of some people that
good
have
one.
really had big contributions that kind of don't ever take much of the limelight for themselves.
Well, Zombie just said he had 42 printers. We could do a whole episode of him just walking through and talking about every
I
single
know that guy.
Killer. Brittany.
I think you guys have had Heart K on before. I see somebody mentioned him. Dr. Dave would be a great one.
Oh, Dave would be good.
Dr. Dave, you know, he's a small maker, but he doesn't have a real big profile, but living in a hack, which is the creator of the Kirigami UFO light.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that, I know Daniel had done that on one of his streams for his G0.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy out of Germany, really cool dude to visit with. I like these little makers though, because
Yeah.
the stuff that they come up with,
Ace one, yeah.
I'd say whooping, but I don't know if you'd get
We had
He
John.
was our first.
John was. Oh, that
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still got my picture when he was driving through and stopped here. I was able to grab a picture with him here at the house.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, Blam,
Good one. Yeah.
living in a hack. There's a couple of others,
Share, yeah.
these small creators that have made some really neat projects that haven't really made it to the limelight. There's a couple of them that
Mhm.
I feel really bad. I couldn't figure out whose board it was. And it took me like 3 months to remember whose it was. I ordered like panels of it and the parts, and I never built it because I didn't know whose it was until I watched Steve's stream today. It was Polar Ted. He created a CAN bus board that I've got sitting here that I haven't even built yet that I need to reach out to. So, I mean, there's all sorts of cool members like that don't get a lot of limelight. The little guys.
Zombie
Yeah.
would be cool to have on sometime too.
Yeah, Apex Snake Oil. There's another really good one too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's what I love about this is I mean we can be doing this for the end of
Yes.
time. I mean because there's
Vitaly.
so many people.
Yeah,
There-
Vitaly would be a really good one.
Go Vitaly.
Yeah. Polar Ted is famous for the wrong reason. You are absolutely right.
Yeah, no, that would be
Polar
great.
Ted Club.
Well, it's awesome. I think I told my wife I muted myself for a second and told her it'd be 10 minutes. So yeah, it's when I do it at the house, it's one of those things. We've got 2 kids, 4 and 8, and so it's like keeping them from screaming is a challenge. So, Shammy, dude, this has been awesome. You know, there's streams. All of these are a lot of fun for me. I mean, I don't like the talking on in front of the internet thing, but like when it's doing this format, it's easy. it's even easier when it's somebody like you that I get to talk to that I just know is going to be super chill. We've met, we've talked. You're
Yep.
just a great, outstanding all around dude. Um, Thank you for making my Sunday evening a wonderful evening, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Alan, Jeremy, all of y'all.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I mean, basically, anytime you come up, the phrase that always pops into my mind is just Shammy's good people. I mean, anytime something's going on, the first words out of your mouth are, how can I help? What can I do? You're just an all around good person and a really great member of our community. So thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Cool. Well, let's take it on out. Thanks for stopping in, everybody, and we will see you on another one of these real soon. Good night.
All right.